order to practice using acrylic paint and mixing colors, we're going to do a more free-form color investigation. And in this practice, we are going to just let this flow and work with creating variations. And we'll be inspired by Paul Klee's square paintings. These allow us to apply color in simple squares or a thick mark or some kind of other basic shape. And the idea is not to focus so much on the form, the shapes of these colors, but to really work with creating a variety of the color that you choose. So I've set up my palette just like this. I've got my mother color, which is going to be blue. So you're going to choose your mother color, and that is your hue that you're going to start to use to create all of the other colors. So let's first start with creating variations of your mother color, and mine is blue. I'm going to get started by just applying some of my true blue here, and I'm just going to start putting it onto the page. Okay, so these are the true blue right out of the bottle. But we want to start creating variations of color that don't come straight out of the bottle so we can get some practice. So first, let's start with a tint by creating a lighter blue. I really like this practice because it gets us to understanding how much we can get out of our colors by doing some mixing. And it allows us to be free. Instead of working inside a small space like a value scale or little shapes, we can just explore on our paper. I want us to get used to doing a lot of our work on our canvas as well, because sometimes we get so worked up with creating the right color on our palette. And the thing is, acrylic paint dries pretty fast, so we gotta work a little quicker. I always have this little water bottle here. If you feel like your paint needs a little livening up, you can just spray a little water. All right, so I got some tints onto my color investigation. Now I am going to work with its complement. Now, every time we create a new type of blue, you want it to be recognizable as blue and not another color. And then what I liked about this being the mother color is because it keeps breaking out into other colors. So if I've got this neutral blue, I'm gonna bring some over here. I'm just gonna dab some of this other blue in here, and now I've got a whole new color. It just keeps growing. Maybe if I try a little white in there, I can see what happens. It's all about exploring what can happen with your colors. So the idea is we start with one hue. We create as many variations of that hue as we possibly can, stretching out the possibilities of your paint. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this brown. Again, making sure that it doesn't differentiate so far from blue that it would become another color. You really want it to be a variety of that mother color here. All right, now I'm ready to switch it up. I'm going to use other colors and start mixing it into my blue, my mother color. Make a bunch of different variations of blue using these. So it's not going to stretch so far away from blue that I wouldn't call it a blue color. So again, taking some color out over onto the side, mixing it. Oh, that's a beautiful color. now that I've filled my page with as many color variations as I can, I am going to move towards the complementary color of my chosen hue. So we know that I've chosen blue and my complementary color is orange. So now 10 to 15% of this paper should be covered with variations of the complementary color now. So my complementary color is orange. This is now becoming that mother color. And I am going to start 10 to 15% of this page is going to have variations of orange now, recognizable as orange itself. I'm using a little bit of purple to make a really nice, rich orange color here. So remember, you can use other colors. You can make tints of orange. You can make shades of orange. And you can use other colors to make a variation of this orange, as long as it is recognizably that color hue. That is where you show that you have control of the paints. You could see that I'm kind of staying in the areas that I started applying this orange color to, just so that I don't go too far over and let that orange take over. I still want my blue to take up most of my space here. So as I create more types of orange, I am just going right on top and building it up, just the way I did with the blue, but staying a little bit in a more confined space on my page. In these paintings, I really like to use the flatness of this brush to my advantage. You see that I let that shape really show, and I just change the direction in the way that I apply the paint here. So I've got my mother color blue that takes up most of the page. Now I've got my orange, and I have some variations of that orange, but it doesn't take over too much. Only 10 to 15% of the page will be variations of that complementary color. Now I'm going to add an accent. And this could be whatever color you want, but it's only going to be like 5%. It's just an accent color. So for mine, I'm going to choose red to be the accent color because a lot of my variations of the orange moved towards a reddish color. But let that be guided by your own work. Choose an accent color that you feel will look good. And it should only be 1 to 5%. So just a couple variations of that red. Alright, this is one of my color explorations. I'm going to try a couple different ones in my sketchbook as this dries, but I don't like to waste paint. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use up the rest of the paint that's on my page just freely in my sketchbook on another page and use it for another day and then clean up my palette.